ABC News national security and defense analyst and former senior executive with the CIA, Mick Mulroy, joins me now with more. So, Mick, we just heard our Martha Raddatz interview with Ukrainian President Zelensky. He says Ukraine appreciates allies for their help and weapons provided, but warns any foot-dragging will cost lives. What do you make of what Zelensky said and the current state of Ukraine's counteroffensive?
So, Alexis, I certainly think it's understandable why he would say that, and it's likely true. He needs specific weapon systems for this counteroffensive, the F-16, but also the ATACMS, which are long-range artillery, and now this dual-purpose munitions, which they would like, which is a cluster bomb, essentially. But those are all very useful tools when it comes to him being able to breach the Russian defenses, and that's why he's saying this. It's true. Of course, the U.S. is going to weigh the cost and analysis on whether it would be considered an escalation. But I would err on the side of getting them what they need, because the longer they are delayed, the more lives that will be lost for sure.
Meanwhile, Russian nuclear weapons are now being transferred to Belarus. The president of Belarus claims those bombs are 3 times more powerful than those dropped on Hiroshima and Nagasaki. What more do we know about where these weapons are going and the threat they pose?
So some of this might be like an empty threat in the sense that you don't have to move these weapons to Belarus. Russia borders Ukraine right now. So they could simply forward deploy them along their own border. But I think part of it is just to be able to make such a big statement on this. President Putin has constantly threatened to use nuclear weapons, and this is just one more part of that. To the extent that they are tactical, which means low yield, they're essentially could be very devastating, but not in the strategic level with large nuclear weapons. So unfortunately, it's not something we want to hear. I don't know if it is more of a threat than already continuously threatening to use nuclear weapons, as President Putin has done multiple times already.
And Mick, the president of Belarus, Alexander Lukashenko, says that Wagner Group leader Yevgeny Prigozhin is not in his country, as has been reported, but that he is in Russia. Is Russia trying to make an example of Prigozhin here by releasing these images?
It's quite possible. I think that there's also been plenty of reporting that has him in Russia. Either he's there because he's negotiating what to do next with Wagner Group. The Russian regime makes a lot of money, particularly on their activities outside of Ukraine, and maybe that's it. Or perhaps, to your point, the Russian government is putting more of a thumbscrews on him, and this is not in his will to be there.
And the head of NATO said today that he hopes it will allow Sweden to join the alliance at the NATO summit next week. How important is this for Sweden and the NATO allies?
It's very important. So Sweden, along with Finland, avoided joining NATO for the entirety of the Cold War, but because of Russia's actions in Ukraine, they would like to now. And Sweden is a very advanced military, and they have a lot that could add to the NATO alliance itself. So hopefully they will be permitted to join. It's not just for them, it's also for the NATO alliance itself.
All right, Mick Mulroy, thank you.
Hi, everyone. George Stephanopoulos here. Thanks for checking out the ABC News YouTube channel. If you'd like to get more videos, show highlights, and watch live event coverage, click on the right over here to subscribe to our channel. And don't forget to download the ABC News app for breaking news alerts. Thanks for watching.